Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome
Gods and
Hello.
Isn't this great? It's like $30. I'm going to use this for an upcoming Gods and Monsters game show called Monster Match Game. Dun, 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 dun. We don't have the rights to that song. Welcome to the show, everyone. I want to welcome Greg to the show. Greg, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Art.
I want to welcome Joshua to the show, returning it's been about a year almost since you've been on our show. He was here from MammothSyndicate.com, I believe.
I believe that episode was 29.
You looked it up, huh? I sent you the link just to remind, just to refresh your memory who was coming. Joshua was here. He was here on episode, what did you say, 29?
I think it was 29.
Now we're up at 120 something?
Yep.
Wow, we've done a lot of shows. Last time you were here, you were telling us about the card game. Mm-hmm. Now you're here to let us know about a new comic book.
Still have the card game.
Still in its
pack
container. That's
because
right.
I know it's going to be more valuable in its pack.
And he gave us a poster also, which I'm holding on to as well. What am I, number 4?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that sounds so much better. So welcome back to the show.
Thank
What
you.
are you drinking this evening?
I have a Cider Boys here.
Yes, that's one of my favorites.
I've been on the Cider Boys kick lately, and I saw that you had it on the menu, so
Yes.
this is a Thanksgiving edition cranberry.
Greg Moan always wanting to be sober during the Joshua interviews because if I recall, last time he was here, you were drinking the Monster Energy drink as well.
Well, I had a drink earlier. I had a something called a Dirty Little Freak, and
Yes, but what did you have to drink?
I had a
Thank you.
Anyway, I know I'm going to be here a little bit later,
Yes,
and
yes.
we'll talk briefly about why I'll be here a little bit later. So I'm having a Monster Energy drink
Yes.
because I'm going to need it.
I'm going to scoop closer because I know that.
And you were late
too
and
busy.
didn't even
No
have time
There's
to
no
get
time
a
to drink. I-4 was a little jammed up
Bummer.
today. One little accident slowed everything down from Lake Mary all the way to, what's our exit here? We turn left. The left exit starts with a K.
I drive. What? 77K?
Starts with a K.
I drive.
No. It starts with
Kaylee.
a K. Kaylee. No,
Really?
it's... What's the name of the exit? What's the exit here?
Kick ass.
Okay. Anyway, Kirkman, thank you. That's
All
a
right.
left exit. I think they're going to be getting rid of here. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of
Oh.
construction. A lot of things are happening. So last time Joshua was here, he was letting us know about the new card game that the card game had been out for a little while.
Based
You were
on
just-
one of the comics, correct?
Yes, one of the comics. Now, to refresh everyone's memory, back in 2008, the first comic book came out, I believe. And I thought you said something around 2009. You had decided to quit your job and just pursue the dream.
That's correct, absolutely.
And you've been working on the comic book, you've been working on the card game, and then you've got a debut for us. I believe you said it's coming out next week.
It's going to be debuted at the Hourglass Brewery on the 19th between
Yeah.
2 and 4
The Hourglass Brewery.
in Longwood.
Longwood. Okay, I was going to say, what part of town is that?
It's
I don't
right
recognize-
off of Ronald Reagan.
Oh, okay, that's actually close to the way I drive home every day. Thank you, Sunrail. I pass by there every day, and I get stuck on that thing. That's coming up next week, you said?
About 2 weeks.
In about two more weeks, so you
weeks.
got a debut there. And now, last time we spoke to you also, you said you do most of the drawing yourself and the concept and all that. You have someone else that you work with. But for the most part, it's kind of all you. So I'm glad you're here tonight. You can kind of tell us what can we expect in this new issue, and maybe you can give us a little hint of it up the camera there.
Absolutely. Well, I actually have the cover already done here. And this is going to be my first printed comic.
Yeah, we talked about that before. You were all
so
digital before.
I'll pass that around so you can take a closer
Very
look
nice.
at it.
First printed comic.
Oh, that's Apple. That's Appleman.
Applehead.
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 With
Yes.
with appears to be a comb over of some kind in his hair, but yes.
Is this on the website? I think I've seen this.
Yes,
Okay.
it's under the Kung Fruit section.
Great. Okay. So this I did see this. Okay. This exact cover, right? Though, right? Or is it a different
That one's
cover?
new, and
Okay.
I don't think it's been posted up on the website. It's up on our Facebook page.
I understand. Okay. Because I know these characters. I saw these characters on the website. I didn't read the comic, and I feel bad about that.
And I believe they're also in here as well.
Some of them
Some
are.
of them are.
Mhm.
Yes.
So essentially,
It's empty.
What the?
Well, this isn't an easy read.
well, okay. Well, here you go. I
You have to color it yourself, Greg.
That's a choose your own or make your own comic book.
It's a reverse idea that Marvel's doing with the draw your own cover. Well, it's to draw your own inside.
I love it. That's great.
I love it.
Well, actually, I have the color test here. I have it completely done as far as the color. It's just I'm leery to hand this over because the ending is in here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you
I don't want that responsibility.
No spoilers.
I can't have the
Absolutely.
responsibility.
Absolutely no spoilers. The battle between good and evil never ends, but may ultimately lead to dimensional. I can't read the word. 'cause
Devastation.
It's backward. Okay, it looked like it was. Look at that. Can you read that word? That second word?
What, this?
Yes.
No.
He's messing with us. I think he's messing with us.
I think that's the Star Trek Next Generation font.
Yes.
Well done.
Or Back to the Future, perhaps?
No,
Those straight kind?
actually, I don't believe.
Nah, this is
I'm
an
not sure
original.
which-
Of course, it's an original font. Of course. Patent pending. Patent pending. Issue number one. Issue number 1 here in the Mammoth Syndicate. So since we saw you last, have you been working on this the whole time, or is this something that's just happened in the past few months?
I started working on this about 6 months ago, and basically over the course of the past year, I've had not a lot of time to work on the web comics, so I decided to basically just focus on doing more of the printed comics, which I figure I can probably crank out about 3 a year, because I'm actually doing all the penciling, lettering, coloring. It's all myself. Plus, I wrote it as well, and so I'm going to try to move towards that route. Although on the website, I will be finishing up the current Joppa City storyline once this release is done. And then we're hoping to have actually another card release next year as well, which will actually have the Applehead deck in there.
And is the card game going well? I mean, is it
is
gaining some traction?
I have no decks left currently.
That's a good
problem.
Good problem to have.
So before I want to do reprints, but I want to have the other decks available at that time so that when I do the reprints, I can also include the new decks as well.
Smart.
You said something about 3 issues a year, which you think maybe you're at home watching this, you're like, oh, that's not so much to ask. But that seems like a lot. If you're writing them yourselves and you're drawing them yourselves, that's a lot to do 3 a year, I'm sure.
It is quite a bit. I get home from work and I actually work on this for about 2 to 3 hours and then do it all over again. And then I try to put in at least one weekend day to do it, and then I take one day off just to relax.
God,
but
that's a big commitment. I can barely sit down for more than a couple hours and do my work.
Once the story's written out, what's the average time it takes you to do a page, like a completed page?
Well, I'm actually doing this one a lot different from the way I'm doing the webcomics. I basically wrote out a beginning, a middle, and an end, and then I drew everything, all the pages, all the way through. It's 16 pages. And I kind of let the story kind of go its own route to get to its ending. And then once I got that done, I focused on just coloring it. Coloring and effects, I got all of those done. And after I got that done, I did my print test here. The colors look awesome. And so I'm actually doing the dialogue script, which I've already finished. I'm actually working on the bubbling now. And I hope to be done by this Sunday.
And this is not traditionally hand-drawn. This is computer hand-drawn?
I do everything still traditional.
Oh.
This is actually all the sketches from every single page right here.
Well, what the hell? Because when I was looking through some of the webcomic, and it looked very much like it was done on like Illustrator or not Illustrator. Yeah, I think it is Illustrator.
That's
the one
right,
I'm thinking of. But you're saying these are all hand-drawn initially and then maybe scanned in? Or?
I hand-draw them and then I scan them. Basically, my hand drawing, I've always done that part of it. So I did move all to a completely digital format as far as getting them colored because it's a lot easier.
Yes, and I think that's what I noticed the most is in the coloring and the gradients that I was seeing and some of the special effects, a lot of glow effects that I was seeing looked like that was something that was done on the computer. So, but they start out as hand drawings.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's the one that blows
and
my mind right there.
And also too, it's because if I draw a picture and let's just say one part of that picture didn't come out quite like I wanted it, I don't want to have to scrap the whole page.
Right.
So I can save a good chunk of that page and then just draw what I needed in this section.
Right. So all is not lost. Yeah,
it's definitely not, and I don't throw anything away because I feel like I can use it at some point in time.
By the way, take that alcoholic beverage away from that drawing. This is artwork we're talking about, man. Be careful. This is dangerous.
I did actually bring you guys a thank you gift for having me on the show.
Oh, that's awesome. Once again, if you're looking for that, first time that Joshua was here, that was episode 29, you said?
I think it's 29. And that's, that's the reason why I kept this is because...
And Joshua gave us posters last time, too, if I remember. Posters and the cards and then the special card.
We don't get gifts on this show, so when I got one, I kept it.
Being here is a gift on itself, Greg.
Oh, that's true.
Yes, just keep that in mind.
I don't know why
I'm going back to
sound
just
weird.
remind the audience members, I had it right there and now it's gone, but I think it was around episode 29. You're right.
Well, what I got for you is actually a full poster of the cover.
Very
awesome.
nice. Unfolded, uncreased, rolled up nicely for us to
Absolutely.
take home.
Oh, that's
Absolutely.
clever. So that the front and the back cover become one large
giant
mural.
cover. Yes.
I love it.
So I have one. I have one for each of you
I
guys.
appreciate that.
Wow.
Thank you.
And,
That's very nice.
I also have a couple of personal invites to the release.
Adding to our Mammoth Syndicate collector's items that we've been
Awesome.
putting together. All right, let's take a look here. Mammoth Syndicate's first printed comic release party, November 19th from 2 to 4 p.m. That's going to be in Longwood off of Ronald Reagan Boulevard. And the name of the location?
Is
Hourglass.
Hourglass Brewing. Yep,
Oh, it's a brewery house.
it is. It's the
I'm there.
best one in town.
I'll
Okay,
go.
take me through it. If I'm driving down Ronald Reagan and I go over the railroad tracks, I'm heading towards downtown Longwood.
Oh, you're heading towards downtown. So in that case, it'd be on your left-hand side.
Okay, gotcha.
If you're heading towards Dog Track, it'll be on your right-hand side.
Okay, I got you. Because I drive past it every day then on my way to work.
It's actually right next to Waco Taco, Papa B's. It's in that area.
Oh my
there.
God, a brewery right next to a taco place. I could live there.
And the staff there, they're so awesome, and they were really welcoming to have this in there.
Very nice.
To have me in. So I really do appreciate that.
How did you get to become friends with them?
Well, they opened a few years ago in a smaller spot down the road, and I just started going in there, and because the beer is just absolutely fantastic, it really spoils any other beer.
Do they have a couple of good porters?
Oh yeah,
I'm there. Okay,
yeah.
I'm there. That's- say
One of
no
my
more.
favorites is
Say no more.
a coconut porter called the Pendulum. It's delicious.
That sounds awesome. All right.
So
Done deal.
I got to know one of the guys there named Jeremy. He's also a comic artist. He's really good. So we started just talking a little bit, and then last September I was Artist of the Month there.
Oh, very
and
good.
I did quite well. I sold pretty much all of my pieces that I had available.
Wow. Artist of the Month, I believe, gets to park in the front spot. Up
They
front
get a
there
plaque?
for
Yeah.
1 month. Yeah, just for 1 month only, though.
Well, the old spot didn't have much of a parking area. That's definitely not the situation now. So when I got this put together, I went up to the Hourglass one day, and Jeremy happened to be working, and I just showed him my cover here, showed him that I need a place to have this release party at, and he was like, absolutely, no problem at all. Just give him a date. And he set everything up for me.
That sounds like a familiar business practice from this place.
We see that
So
quite a
that's
bit
good to
here.
know.
Yeah, that's good to know.
You said Hourglass is the name of it?
Yes,
Are they? They're big supporters of all the local art scene.
Absolutely,
Cool.
definitely.
And they have art inside of the
Oh
place?
yes,
Cool.
they have an
I would-
Artist of the Month every month.
I will definitely want to check that place out. Then
Maybe at the bottom of this YouTube episode, you'll see the link for Hourglass as well as the link for your website
would-
as well,
I
just
would
so
hope so.
people can just have a little click and take you right to it and see.
And
I imagine they have a Facebook page, and you
Yes.
do as well, so we can have all that in there.
Yeah, the event itself is located on their event section.
Oh,
of the
okay.
fa-
So they've got
Facebook
an event page. Okay, good. We'll do the link for that as well, not just to their page, but specifically to the event
Excellent.
as well. Excellent. So once this is complete, and you folded it and you put the little staples in it, and you're done with it, what'll be next for you after this?
I'm going to take a few days off
Good call.
Yeah, you might want to
Yeah,
take a whole week.
to
Right.
relax. I think I'm going to have to reward my girlfriend for being very patient and supportive through the process.
They're rare if you can find somebody.
Oh,
that supports you
definitely.
through
I
your
wouldn't-
insanity.
Sign one of these for her and give it to her. Say, here you go. Here's for your trouble.
I definitely wouldn't be able to put it together without her because she's she takes care of everything that I can't take care of when I'm doing this.
Good.
And also keeps me motivated because there's times as an artist that you feel like this isn't going to work.
Right.
No,
Right.
no one's going to read this.
I've never.
And if you're by
experienced that
yourself
ever.
and there's no one to tell you that it's going to be okay, you can give up sometimes.
That doesn't work. I need a good slap in the face,
Good.
and gets me remotivated
Well, that's
and,
good.
and
That's-
back to work.
That's good to hear. You want to give a little shout out to her. Who is that? What's her
Oh,
name?
that's Rachel.
That's Rachel.
I'm gonna steal that dog. That is the cutest dog.
A
I've
reminder
ever
once
seen.
again, you can bring your pets here to Gods and Monsters at any time and walk around. Look at that tiny little dog.
Yeah, that's a good-looking dog.
That's a lot of walking for that little dog. He's going to do over in this mall. That's
I'm
humongous.
tired.
So since we saw you last, have you made your way over to Gods and Monsters at all?
Oh, I was
Since
actually I had a booth at the 1 year.
Oh, God.
You were here at the 1 year?
I sure was.
Oh, you should have. We were in the corner
the
like where
hell?
we were last time.
You know what? I didn't even see you guys
Yeah,
until
it was
the end
so,
of the day.
and
It
you
was
know
a
why?
little- it was busy.
So busy. That's a
It was
good thing. We were in that same corner where we were for the opening day. We do most of the shows here now, but this area was kind of busy. So we were over in that section again, and we did another 6 or 7 hours of U2 Live. We killed it that day with U2 Live. We were there all day. But gosh, we were so busy, you didn't even see that you were here. So you had a booth with Mammoth Syndicate, or were you here with someone else?
Rachel and I had the booth in the back, and we were actually in full cosplay too. So you guys really missed out.
What were you wearing?
I was dressed up as my character Amon, and I had
Applehead.
And I had the lightning bracelet. I had a EL wire going up my.
Oh, cool.
My,
God, see, we were so
arm.
busy that day. We had a different guest every hour, and we were booked solid.
was
I
moving
didn't really get a
fast,
chance
too.
to walk around and enjoy it as much as I did the anniversary, the first.
By the mid-afternoon, I was really hoarse just from talking.
Just from talking. That's
and
good.
and it was really loud too. So you have to talk very loudly.
Yeah.
And
Sure. Did you sell a lot of product that day?
I got rid of a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Now, being an artist yourself and an appreciation of it, did you buy anything that day? Did
I
you break even that day? You sell a lot, you buy a lot?
The problem is when I get an influx of cash, then I think, okay, now what can I buy with this?
Right.
And so, some of that went right out the door
Yeah.
pretty quickly. But, I'm really doing it for the exposure and meeting people and
Yep.
getting them interested in the Mammoth Syndicate. It's not so much about the bottom line yet. I can only go so far, obviously, but I think it's going really well, and I've had a lot of positive support.
Now, within the Mammoth Syndicate, you have 3 separate books. Is that correct?
Yes, on the website.
Is this a 4th, or is this a what is this?
Okay, that's actually a great question. If you notice, the title Dimensional Devastation is the same name as the card game.
Yes.
And so basically this is a comic based off the card game. So it's 2 characters from 2 different comics on the Mammoth Syndicate website.
Okay.
And basically battling it out in the same fashion that you would play the card game in.
Okay. All right.
And so basically when I was like, okay, how do I want to start this? I picked the 2 characters that I personally like drawing the most, which are Applehead and then my cyborg General Laszlo from my Red Colony series.
He looks a little like he's got a head from one of the characters, or one of the turret things from, oh my God, Aperture Labs. What is it?
Turret.
Never mind. We'll come back to that.
They always look like these would be great characters that would have been on the Tick. Some sort of enemies that the Tick would have had to deal with. It's Applehead.
Ah,
oh, God,
you're right.
It's Applehead again. So between the first anniversary and now, have you been to any other events where you've set up a booth and you've sold product?
Let me think. Actually, I think the last one probably was the 1 year because I started on the comic shortly after that.
Were you at MegaCon this year?
I was not at MegaCon. No, unfortunately.
Is that something that you normally do? Do you go to the Dragon Cons, the MegaCons?
I do go to. I like to go to a lot of the smaller cons.
Yeah.
I haven't been to any of the major ones in quite some time. I try to stick to the smaller ones because I get to know a lot of the local artists too.
That makes a lot of sense. It's easy to get overwhelmed and overshadowed at some of the larger things because people want to go to Marvel or they want to go to they want to go to the big draw event things. So maybe it's better to stay in those smaller arenas.
I've had a lot of very good success at smaller cons. People seem to be more focused on the actual art and the fact that it's original art.
Right.
They seem to, that draws them to the booth.
They're probably fascinated that you're pretty much a one-man show as well.
I try to make it look like I'm not a one-man show.
Okay.
But still, even to be a 3-man show or 4, it's still pretty impressive.
Where I'm going with that is that a lot of these kids, a lot of these adults even, they have these ideas for, I would love to be, make my own comic book and stuff like that, but it's so friggin' hard. There's no way. But if they ran into you and talked to you and understood that, if you work hard enough, you can do it by yourself.
It took a lot of practice, and I felt that I was finally at the point where I could produce something, a printed version of one of my comics that people would really enjoy. The art would be great, and that it would just be visually impactful. And I think I did a great job on the cover.
Yes.
The cover looks really good.
Give us a little tease.
I love the posters, man. Those look so good.
Give us a little tease. Flip to one of those pages that you
Sure.
don't mind parting with our audience to show to the GoPro up there. You don't want to give too much away.
The backgrounds are awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, you like that?
Yeah.
So,
Something you can hold up to the GoPro so that we could see just kind of a page and give us a little description of your process.
Is this purely fictional place, or is this like taking place on Mars or on a planet that we know?
It's based on a true story.
This is actually
Get out of
here. This is taking place on Mars. It's actually taking place from Red Colony 2, my Mars comic. Okay. So you could go read the archive.
See, you jackass. It's happening on Mars.
It's funny that you should mention the background, because for the most part, these backgrounds were assembled through various construction sites around Orlando.
Oh, really?
You actually took the photography and then put it in?
I did.
Awesome.
Yes, so that's from different areas of Orlando.
Now, you did it the hard way. I would have gone online, Google image search.
No.
Said, show me dirt. And then I would have took a picture of dirt, and then bam, done.
No, I don't think that's how.
I respect the level of detail that you took and the amount of work that you did to make
thank you.
purely,
I appreciate that.
purely original content.
Well, some people would call it lazy because I do use a lot of photo backgrounds instead of drawing them out.
It's a mixed media.
It is mixed, and to be honest, the texturing really helps define the book too. Mm-hmm. So yeah, this page that I just showed here, basically this is it's actually a couple of different things going on here. This is Mano's Bar. It's a bar in Joppa City.
Okay.
It's run by basically a fairy with magic abilities, and he's broadcasting it. The fight for the Joppa City patrons to watch.
Time out here.
Okay.
I don't see any words on these pages.
It's all up here, man. He knows what he's talking about.
So is that something that gets added in afterwards?
That's what I'm currently doing right now.
The text bubbles and stuff?
Mm-hmm. Yes. With the speech bubbles, I had to basically redo my entire library of them because I had them for web, and the resolution wasn't nearly high enough.
I see.
So you had to go and redo.
I had to do all of them. So, I'm still doing that. But I plan to actually finish all the lettering this weekend, so it should be completely done.
Do you have an example of a background picture that you took that after you saw it and you saw it on a sheet of paper, or you started to color it out, you looked at a background picture and said, oh, wow, I'm going to start to change the tone of this story based on these pictures I just took? Or is it was already set in your mind what this was going to be?
Pretty much, I took a couple of different pictures and just combined them together to make it look like a landscape, because I tried to keep it fairly consistent.
This is really good. This looks really good.
So you see, there's like a field here, and then I used like a background of a mountain background here. Okay. And I tried to use.
Where'd you get the backgrounds in, or where'd you get the mountains?
Well,
in
this
Florida?
this one's digitally made.
Those are anthills.
Those are anthills. Those are anthills. Cameras on the ground.
These are digitally made mountains that
Very
I did.
cool.
That I did a long time ago for the original Red Colony, and then I used the new photos here. These are really just dirt piles and such throughout the entire comic.
It's
clever. This is so cool. See, this is all a kid needs to see when they say to themselves, I don't think I could do this. I want to do this.
Yeah.
But then once you start to see the steps to it, and kids maybe always look at the big picture, which is, oh God, this whole thing, I can't do it, it's too much. But then when you start to see the steps, you start like this, and then you go to this, and it's like you see that this is doable.
Do you know, and maybe this is a class that you can take at a con or something like that, is there such a thing where somebody will walk you through the steps of creating your own comic book?
That's a good question. I'm sure there's some printing companies out there that do.
I don't even mean like the printing part of it. That's more the technical side. I'm talking about from the idea of your characters to the paneling to the writing of your story, and then integrating that into panels, into pages, into a 14-page book. I would imagine that would be something very interesting for a lot of kids and adults who want to get these ideas out of their head and onto a physical medium, and they have just the idea is so overwhelming that they just can't start.
Well, I'm not sure about as far as a school, but where I got my start,
you worked your ass off doing it yourself.
Yeah.
I know.
I actually bought a book written by Peter David, the comic writer, and he spelled out how to script a comic book, and so that's where I originally started. I started writing comics,
because it's very different than any other medium, I would expect.
It is, yes, because you have to put the detail in there of what you want in the panel, and then also the dialogue. And continuity throughout the book is also very difficult too, because you want it to look like it's in the same area throughout the entire comic book.
Yeah, and that's true, because when I would flip through any comic book, they always have a look to them, and it's consistent throughout the entire book, whether it's drawing style or even just a simple linearity to it. Like I was a big fan of the Max, and
I love the Max.
That was a very bizarre and unique way to tell stories
Yes.
with panels, and nearly breaking fourth wall, but not quite. So cool.
And also as far as the amount of work that it takes, I always look at how far I've come since I first started. Not how am I going to get this done? And to be honest, I booked the date before I even knew how I was going to get the book fully done.
Oh boy!
Because
you have to make your own deadlines.
Yeah,
I do, and I think that helps me. It just keeps me motivated,
Right.
and then I can promote it as I go on. Like my social media, my Mammoth Syndicate Instagram page, it's loaded with all of my original art, all the pencils, computer programs that I use. You can see actual stages of me completing the comic all the way through.
Okay.
And get a pretty good idea of how I put it together. I even do videos of my print testing, things like that, so people can actually physically see me doing the entire comic book from start to finish.
Tell us where they can find you on Instagram, by the way.
Oh, it's at Mammoth_Syndicate.
Okay. Also, I want you to go refresh everybody's memory again where we can find you online besides Instagram, Facebook, and then the webpage as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, MammothSyndicate.com is my main website, and on the right-hand side of that page, you can just click on all my social media there. Our Facebook page is just Facebook/The Mammoth Syndicate.
Mammoth Syndicate.
And,
All right.
and on your website, can you catch up with all of the old issues?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Under the archive section.
Super cool.
Okay, and that once again, that is November 19th. That's not very far from now, from 2 to 4 p.m. That's going to be at the Hourglass.
Nice.
Hourglass Brewery in Longwood, and if you wanna go on out there, you get to meet Joshua that day. They're going to be selling the items. The poster's going to be for sale as well.
The posters are a one-time for you guys.
Oh, collector's item. I have the other poster you gave
yeah.
us too, because you gave us one the first day we saw you as well, and we appreciate that. All right, so once again, click on the link at the bottom of this YouTube page to find out where you can find this event. I bet the directions will be on there since it's an invite on their page, and what time it all is, from 2 to 4 p.m. We want to make sure to go out there and tell Joshua you saw him on Gods and Monsters. That's what we need
That
to do
would be
more of that.
something, yeah.
Oh, I saw you on Gods and Monsters.
And definitely go to the
They're
website
not
and
gonna
catch
do
up on the comic.
Yes,
get familiar with
definitely.
these characters, and so you know what you're talking about when you talk to them.
And I appreciate you coming out here and come out again
Thank
more
you.
often. We haven't seen you in almost a
Absolutely.
year now. That's Joshua, and we want to just real quick. I know we're going
Yeah.
super fast.
Yeah, we'll do some of the quick things that we sometimes talk about.
Box office.
I blew it last time.
Yeah, we always do
Oh
this thing
my
where we try and
God,
predict
did I
box
blow it.
office numbers, and it was for
'Cause
the
that friggin'
Jack-
Medea's boost specular.
Wow, we had
How
no
did the
idea.
Fuck did that get better? As
we had discussed. The movie was it Jack Reacher?
yes,
We said that Jack Reacher was coming out. It was the sequel.
I thought that was gonna kill.
The numbers I think we said were 40, 50, and 60 million.
Yeah.
There were 3 of us here, and it was lower than that.
it was like 20.
I know, way off on a Tom Cruise movie. You just expect it to do better, and
It was
Medea
awful.
blew that movie away, and the next week it blew away the Tom Hanks movie, Inferno.
Yeah,
What the
hell?
So
a lot
the-
of dumb people
the
out there
power
watching
of
dumb movies.
The power of Medea.
I
Now, of
guess.
course, today is Friday. This will be out on Monday. Today is Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange comes out today.
He's
We're gonna do a little box office prediction. You kind of give us an idea of how much you think it'll make in its first weekend.
3 million. I don't even know. I don't even know
I'm gonna
anymore.
say 4, and I'm gonna win this one. But no, I'm gonna say it should be making
It's
50
Marvel.
to 60 million. So I'm gonna say 55 million.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that, Joshua?
Doctor Strange. I think it's going to do really well. I'm gonna say 40.
Okay.
I'm
He's
gonna
going 40.
lowball it and say 27.
All right, 27.
Just because.
55.
Well, we know that everyone that's already seen Medea has seen it.
Right. So you're right.
Okay, now that makes sense. All right.
Thank God.
Damn
Whew,
it.
all those people can see it. Well, that's our predictions for that. We've done kind of the what you've been drinking. I know we've got another activity going on the back there, but there's
We
something
do.
on your mind, isn't there?
No.
Okay. Then real quick, I'll say that you can find me, of course, on the Gods and Monsters page. And I don't really promote anything else. I just want people to know about Gods and Monsters. If you want to go to my...
Well, you produced
No, you
that
know-
one show.
No, I don't anymore.
Oh.
I don't know what I do
You don't
anymore.
do that anymore?
We're
What's-
doing other stuff. I got so many things going on.
No,
I'd
at
love
the
to talk
school.
about it, but at school. Oh,
That's
yeah.
what I'm talking
Well, you
about.
can find me at South Seminole Middle School's Facebook page where we do the morning announcements every day. You can find it there on the YouTube page as
They're
well.
really starting to hit their stride, too. I mean, they're really starting to get it together.
and I'm working on another project with somebody. She just texted me right now, but we can't talk about it. There's so many other great projects coming up.
Goody.
But we want to mention that next week is what's going on next week.
I don't know, but we're gonna have a longer show next week because I'm sure we'll have other stuff to talk
discuss
about.
We'll discuss the things that are happening in the back of the room tonight. That's right. Readers.
Yeah,
the Readers Theater tonight.
Readers Theater tonight
is actually tonight.
That's right.
It's called Readers Theater tonight, but it's actually tonight.
When you see this, when you read this, hear this, it'll be over.
Yes, but they'll be back again because they're a radio program that's going to be here at Gods and Monsters on a regular basis. We hope.
They're going to try once a month.
Well, Joshua, thank you once again for coming out from
Thank you.
MammothSyndicate.com. You're going to see him over on the 19th from 2 to 4 p.m. And you can just go on up and get an autograph from him, too, I bet.
Absolutely.
I bet you could. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next week on Gods and Monsters.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.